I'm 23 female and just got a positive pregnancy test, but I haven't been with a man in 6 years. How is this possible? Help. I'm freaking out. I'm scared that I either have some crazy form of cancer or was raped, or that I'm crazy and had sex that I don't remember. I am 23 female and a lesbian, not very sexually active, but have sex with the girl I'm sort of seeing about twice a month. She is a cisgender woman, and there's no possible way she could get me pregnant, just to be clear. The last time I had sex with a male that I remember was in high school 6 years ago. I am 5'1", 140 lbs. I'm healthy. I think I take Zoloft, and sometimes use non-prescription allergy medicine, but I don't think those things are relevant. I started throwing up occasionally maybe a month ago, and I wasn't really worried about it, and thought I just had a stomach bug. I went to a walk-in clinic this morning because it wasn't getting better, and they told me I'm pregnant. I explained that I can't be pregnant, and they said I must be. I don't really keep track of my periods, but I'm not sure if I've had one in a couple of months. I am scheduled to see a gynecologist next Friday to confirm the pregnancy, but I'm scared and want answers now. I've been reading that there are some kinds of cancer that can cause a positive pregnancy test, but I can't find a lot of information about them. Can anyone tell me how likely that is? The only other possibility is last November I had been drinking at my friend's house, where a bunch of us got together to watch a football game, and I don't drink and drive, so I slept on their couch. I didn't drink all that much, I think 3 drinks, so I shouldn't have blacked out. My friends whose house I stayed at are a male-female couple. I texted my male friend asking him if we had sex or something, and if I was just so drunk I didn't remember it, and he was very confused and upset, and said he wouldn't cheat on his wife or have sex with someone who was that drunk. I want to trust my friend, but the thing I'm really scared of is that my friend raped me and is lying, and that I didn't even know it. I live in Tennessee and abortion is illegal here, and I'm scared. Can somebody please tell me what is going on and if there's any other reason I could have a positive test? Comment 1. I'm really sorry you're going through this. It's a lot to process. The best thing you can do is wait for your gynecologist appointment for confirmation. It's also important to trust your gut and take steps to protect your emotional well-being in the meantime. Comment 2. It's understandable to be scared, but it's great you're seeking answers. Pregnancy tests can sometimes give false positives, but rare medical conditions like certain cancers or hormonal imbalances can cause similar results. Hopefully the gynecologist will give you more clarity soon. Update 1. Thank you for the responses. They really have been helpful, and I've been a lot less panicked, even though I know I still don't know what's wrong with me. Seeing that it may be something besides cancer or pregnancy has helped a lot, because I thought those were my only 2 options. I am at my parents' house and feeling a little bit better. My parents will help me get an abortion if I am actually pregnant, even if we have to go out of state, and my mom said she will go with me. I texted my friend, the wife of the person who I'm scared raped me, and told her everything, and that I don't want to accuse her husband, but I'm scared. And she swore on her life that I didn't seem drugged, just kind of drunk. And that I went to sleep on her couch and they both went to bed right after. She said there is no way he could have gotten up and assaulted me without her knowing. So I feel a little better, and I'm trying not to work myself worrying that she's complicit and that they conspired to rape me. I feel better reading some of these responses and seeing that there are conditions besides cancer that can cause a false positive, and my parents are telling me that even if it is cancer, that doesn't mean I'm going to die. We're also going to try to see if an OB/GYN can see me sooner, and my dad is going to call tomorrow to see if there are any urgent cares that have ultrasound machines. Update 2. I posted a couple of days about having a positive pregnancy test, even though I am a lesbian and haven't had sex with a male in 6 years. I got a lot of good advice and kind words, thank you all so much. I'm going to try to explain what is happening now, but between stress and medicine I'm not sure I'm able to make a lot of sense, and I'm not sure if I understand it. I went to my parents' house last night, and told them what was happening, and this morning my dad found an urgent care about 2 hours from their house that had an ultrasound machine, and they were willing to see me, and my mom took me. They did another pregnancy test, and it was also positive, and then did a regular ultrasound and did not find a pregnancy. So they had me go to the emergency room because they said a positive pregnancy test with an empty uterus is an emergency, because it could mean there is a fetus growing outside of the uterus, which is very dangerous. The ER did a transvaginal ultrasound and couldn't find a pregnancy, and they did blood work and said my pregnancy hormone levels are very high and my potassium and iron are a little low. And they thought they could see something on my right ovary, so they did laparoscopic surgery. They ended up removing my entire ovary because they found a kind of tumor on it called an immature teratoma. I don't remember going in for surgery or waking up, but I was freaking out and hysterical when I woke up, and they had to give me Valium and an IV. Mom and the nurses told me about the tumor later. The nurse said that they are talking to some specialists and doing pathology to find out if it's malignant or not, because they said a teratoma could be either malignant or not. And I have tried looking up information online, but I don't know if I understand it. I know I owe apologies to my friend who I thought might have raped me. Please no one make me feel worse about that than I already do. I think I am staying at the hospital overnight. My questions now are: how long does pathology take? Is pathology the same thing as a biopsy? Would the tumor explain why I have been throwing up, or is that something else? Will they be able to tell me if I have cancer before I leave the hospital? If it is cancer, am I going to die? Update 3 Final update. The doctor came and talked to me. It turns out that I had misunderstood, and they didn't say it was an immature teratoma. But they did say it had features that could be one. It is definitely a teratoma, but they aren't sure if it's mature or immature, because it looks like it could be either. They redid my blood work today, and it still has pregnancy hormone, but is already less than half of what it was yesterday, so they are sure it was the tumor causing it. And they're pretty sure it was the reason I had been vomiting also. The doctor said he thinks that even if it is malignant, they probably removed all of it, and I don't need to keep worrying that I'm going to die. He said it also shouldn't affect my health because people do just fine with one ovary, and I can still have a baby if I ever want to. I'm not sure if I want biological children, but that is still a good thing to know. They're going to do a scan to look for other masses before I leave today, and said that should put my mind at ease. I got an IV yesterday that brought my potassium back to normal, so that is fine now too. I talked to my friends whose house I stayed at in November about everything that happened, and they said they're not at all mad at me and were just very worried about me because they knew they hadn't hurt me, but they were scared someone else had. They know that I trust them, but was just really freaked out. I also told the girl I've been talking to, and all of that is okay too. She is a little upset that I didn't tell her sooner because she would have come with me to urgent care and the hospital, but we'll work through it. I sent her a picture of a teratoma from the internet and said this is our son and explained what happened, and we got a good laugh at least. They said the pathology results may take about 2 weeks, and if it is cancerous they will refer me to an oncologist closer to where I live who works with these kinds of cancers. I'm supposed to take pregnancy tests at home every 2 days for 2 weeks and contact a doctor if they are not negative after 2 weeks, because that could mean there is something else or something left over causing it. This has all been very strange and surreal, but I'm very thankful that I was not pregnant and that if I have cancer, it is probably treatable. I was so scared and had so many horrible thoughts racing through my mind that my friends had raped me, and that I was going to have his baby and share custody with him. I never thought I would be relieved to have a monster tumor with teeth and hair that might be cancerous, but I am relieved. Thank you to everyone who answered my questions and reassured me. I was so scared. I'm still a little scared, but you all helped a lot. Now, for the next story. Landlord threatens to fine evict me for having sex with my partner in my apartment. Citing illegal activity. Does he have a case? I rent an apartment from a man who lives down the street. It's a nice enough apartment, and up till now I've had very few issues. The problem is he's rather conservative, and I'm rather gay. Once he found out that my boyfriend wasn't just a friend who spent a lot of time with me, he tried to bar him from coming over. I told him to pound sand as it goes. Now he sent me a letter stating that effective immediately, there shall be a $250 fine every time I commit the sin of homosexuality in my apartment. If I refuse to sign the addendum, he claims he will file to evict me due to breach of the lease, specifically the clause that the premises shall not be used for illegal activity. He cites Ma state code that criminalizes fornication, sex outside marriage, and crimes against good nature, which he insists means homosexual relations. The statute does not define it any further. I looked them up, and they are evidently real crimes. I know they're not enforceable by any stretch, but have I technically done illegal activity in my apartment? I really don't want to move early. Lease started in Sept, or have an eviction on my record. I know this seems absolutely silly, but the fact that they are still technically crimes in the book gives me a little pause. Do I need to take this seriously? Or can I start coming up with more ways to say pound sand? What should I do if he does try to take further action? Comment 1. This is absolutely absurd. Those laws are outdated and unenforced, so I wouldn't worry about them. Definitely don't sign anything. Consult a lawyer if needed to make sure you're protected from any eviction threats. Comment 2. You don't need to take this seriously. The law has changed and his actions are likely discriminatory. Stand your ground and consider talking to a legal professional to ensure your rights are defended. Update. So first of all, I just wanted to say wow. The amount of support I received, both in replies and in PMS, was absolutely amazing. Everything from fantastic advice to hilarious commentary. The person who said sand is a weird name for a guy had me in stitches. That said, I feel like people assumed a much worse picture of my landlord, people telling me to buy cameras, etc. He's a nice enough person, but has some very problematic views. He grew up in rural Arkansas, I think, or Alabama, and came to Ma later in life. This was his first time being a landlord, so he still had the idea in his head that it was his house, so to speak. That, coupled with the fact that up till now he'd avoided even talking with people who were openly gay, led to a lot of ignorance. I know some of you were hoping I'd screw him over for all he's worth, or torment him with daily updates of my gay agenda. But alas, I decided to take the calmer approach, and it seemed to work. Yesterday I sat down with him, and first laid out the various information that you guys helped me find. Everything from sexual orientation being a protected class, treble damages, and the fact that those old laws and 100% completely unenforceable. He realized very quickly that he was in the wrong, and he has fucked up bad. He also admitted that even he didn't know what he defined as the sin of homosexuality, or how he'd enforce the fine. He just knee-jerk reacted to the, to him, shocking news. We ended up chatting for about 2 hours then, and it started with me dispelling a lot of misconceptions about gays. Some of his notions were comically bad, like if I weren't having the conversation with him, I'd think he were a caricature. He's a lot older than me, and his kids recently moved across the country and he was renting their house for him, so I think he had some notions of being a father figure to me, and thinking he could lay down the law or set me straight. He seemed genuine, and seemed to be legitimately concerned for me and my soul. I reminded him to hate the sin and not the sinner, and that seemed to resonate with him. He still doesn't agree with homosexuality or my lifestyle, but he's willing to accept it. He seemed to be earnestly trying, and in my mind that counts for a lot. He agreed to write both me and my boyfriend a letter of apology, which I will be keeping copies of in case this matter comes up again and needs to go to court. The past few days have been super stressful, but it seems to be resolved. If things go well, I might even potentially renew the lease come September. I'll still be on guard for any shenanigans, but I think I'll leave the issue where it lies for now. If this was all a ruse or him backpedaling, I'll go at him with everything I can in the future, but for now I'm satisfied. I'm truly appreciative of all the people who offered advice and moral and immoral support in the original thread.